Hello, hello, YouTube viewers. This is Blake Fannin. Please listen closely. Whenever you are having a hard time trying to learn or figure out how to do something, whenever you are wanting to learn or figure out how to do something, and there's even a chance and or a possibility that someone could interrupt you for any reason. And if you have ever had a habit of cussing, and you're trying to learn or do something that you have a hard time learning or doing, and you're concerned that you could be interrupted, well then listen. I recommend doing this before, not during, but before you start trying to do or learn what you have a hard time learning or doing. Read Ecclesiastes chapters 5 and 7, Proverbs 10, Matthew 6 and 22, Mark 11, Philippians 4, and James 1, as well as First John chapters 1 and 4. Read every chapter read every chapter that I just mentioned, but especially Matthew 6, Mark 11, Philippians 4, James 1, and First John chapters 1 and 4. I repeat, James, James 1, and First John chapters 1 and 4. After you read Matthew 6, Mark 11, James 1, and First John chapters 1 and 4, ask the Lord to take everybody's mind off you, and ask him to help you concentrate on what you're trying to learn, and ask him for wisdom on how to do what you're having a hard time doing. If you only have time to read a few passages, read Matthew 6 and 22, Mark 11, Philippians 4, and James 1. And after you read Matthew 6, Mark 11, Philippians 4, and James 1, ask the Lord for help learning what you're having a hard time doing. But if you only have time to read 3 passages, choose between Matthew 6 and Mark 11, and certainly read James 1 and Philippians 4. After you read at least some of those passages, ask the Lord for help doing what you have a hard time doing, because Philippians 4 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And James 1 says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth to all men liberally, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for a doubtful mind is as unsettled as a wave on the sea. And James 1 also talks about how it's not good to talk whenever you're mad, worried, or ticked off. So listen, if you only have time to read a few, read Matthew 6, Philippians 4, Mark 11, and James 1. Because trust me, if you will just read these passages, you will have a much better time learning something. So definitely read James 1, Matthew 6, Mark 11, and Philippians 4, no matter what, if you have time. But definitely read Matthew 6, Philippians 4, and James 1. Thank you. If this helps you, please let me know in the comments below, and like, share, and subscribe too. And listen, this idea literally just popped into my head. This idea literally just came to mind as I was about to end this video. If you're like me and you ever have trouble speaking, read Philippians 4, Matthew 6 and 22, James 1, and Mark 11, and ask the Lord to help you speak plain before you speak at all. I recommend doing it first thing in the morning, no matter what. But if you work night shift like some people do, and if you sleep during the day, I recommend reading it as soon as you wake up, and ask Him to help, and ask the Lord to help you speak plain. Read James 1, Philippians 4, Matthew 6, and Mark 11, and ask Him to help you speak. Ask Him to help you speak plain. Thank you. Please like, share, and subscribe.